You're still watching Prime Morning, and of course, it's time for us to delve into what the newspapers have for us. Our guests are seated and very poised for the conversation. Representing the NDC this morning is a lawyer, Philemon La. How are you?
Very well, Rosalind.
Great. It's good to have you here. And of course, representing the NPP, Honorable Ebenezer Nate, and he will definitely go to Parliament. It might not be now, but it will definitely happen. Good morning, Honorable.
Rosalind.
How are you today?
I'm blessed, and you?
I'm fine, thank you.
You are looking good this morning.
Thank you so much. You look good yourself.
Thank you. I want to do some protests.
Yes, go ahead.
Next week or next 2 weeks, I want us to have a change of seats between me and
Bernard.
Bernard. Because look at Steve, that even if he comes late and I come early, we want to sit by you, which I don't think it is right. So from next year, I want us to change the seats. I'll sit by you, and then he will come to the other side.
Right. Representing PNC this morning, future flag bearer for the PNC, of course, our very own man, Bernard Mona, who's been trending on social media. Good morning, Bernard.
Trending?
Yes, you've been trending.
I have no idea.
Oh, you didn't know? You are?
Good morning, you say.
Yes.
Not when I've been attacked this morning.
Who attacked you?
Look at him. You sat here and I've been bashed. You did not protest.
No, all he said was that he would come and sit here.
No problem. He will sit here. But I will sit here and you'll be here. As for here, he will get to sit. So we just simply so you will sit here, then I'll sit up. As he wants the seat, he will get it.
Right. Anyway, we have a lot of topics that we'll be delving into, but let's quickly take what the newspapers have, and then we delve into our topics. The Custodian newspaper.
I didn't tell you that. I thought I was the only one crashing on you until I got to Burma camp. Mm-hmm. And this young man called Zaid just told me that, Chairman, Rosalind, I gave him a knock.
It's called Zaid, eh?
Zaid.
Good morning, Zaid.
These soldiers, when they start saying they will use their power to come and take over.
Wherever you are, good morning, Zaid. All right, so let me start with the Custodian newspaper. Custodian, LOC to brand Accra for African Games. And we know the games are just around the corner. I think our stadiums are almost ready, right? So hopefully it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
The one that we are using for musical concerts instead of for football matches. Accra House of Folk has been denied the Accra Sports Stadium. And then they are using that to organize for musical concert. Sports activities have been stopped at the LWAC Sports Stadium because we want to do something.
Because of Christmas concerts?
Yeah, concerts. And you go to other jurisdictions, it is within the festive season that people get the opportunity to even go to the soccer and other games. Go to the United Kingdom, go to the United States, go to the Saudi Arabia and all those places. And you see, for our National Sports Council and the authorities manning our stadiums to prefer musical concerts and other entertainment activities to the sports for which reason these stadia has been constructed can only be a misplaced priority. And probably that the persons who are manning these places do not understand their real mandate.
Anyway. The Finder newspaper is the next newspaper. 66,000 vie for 37,290 positions in tomorrow's district level elections. And the government's Barari DV agreement is the best Ghana has ever signed, says Jinapo. The Daily Searchlight newspaper is the next newspaper. Daily Searchlight newspaper. Ghana begs for $3 billion loan, starts paying 2.4 billion judgment debts. Okay, let me take it again. Ghana begs for $3 billion loan. Starts paying 2.4 billion Ghana cedis judgment debts. Bernard, why? It's 2.04 billion judgment debt.
So you go and beg for money to come and pay judgment debt? That is what the Searchlight is reminding us of. That whilst there is a big lie going on that Ghana needs a $3 billion to resuscitate our economy and to bring it back to life because we are in coma. At the same time, we are paying 2.04 judgment debt.
So the money is being used
It's like
to offset.
our nuts have been loosened.
The Ghanaian publisher newspaper, NPP NDC dominates assembly election, CEDA survey says so. And our final newspaper is the Daily Guide newspaper, and it reads, I'm not lame duck President Nana Jab's Bagbin. Louisa Atajiman is NHIA Deputy CEO. Let our MP go solo, and Sawam Chief says so. And economy responding to BOG policies, says Addison. That will be all for what the newspapers have. Is there anything you want to quickly touch on with the newspapers, and then we go into our topics? Anything I've said that you want to quickly touch on?
I'm surprised Nanado says that he's not a lame duck president. Every Ghanaian knows that Nanado is a lame duck president. In fact, he's admitted it himself. You remember the special...
How is it every Ghanaian?
He himself, well, put aside Ghanaian, he himself has admitted that, Charlie, he can't do anything. You remember the MPP, the Special Delegates Conference, when he was interviewed? He said that he's given up. He's not in any position to change the fortunes of the Ghanaian people, and that the next leader of Ghana, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, will take over and then do that. So he himself, self-admission. You know, in criminal issues, when you yourself say you are guilty, that is it. They don't even continue the trial again.
Okay.
So in this case, Nanado himself said, I cannot, I have failed, I am lame duck. So when he's now described as a lame duck president, I don't see why he should want to now put in a defense when he has been convicted already.
Okay.
Nanado is
anything
lame
else
duck.
you want to touch on with what the newspapers have said? And then
I want to talk about tomorrow's election.
Okay.
I don't know whether it will be part of our discussion. But if it's not...
Let's talk about it because it's tomorrow, so...
as you are aware...
Why it's not here? Okay, see.
It's here. It's actually, that's a 66,000.
As you are aware, God willing, tomorrow morning, Ghanaians...
I know your candidates, so I can mention them by names.
But those that you see on my status are...
Because I know you will not put something you don't want.
To be honest and sincere with you, Roslyn, in as much as the Electoral Commission has done a lot of publicity, I think it is not enough. Because looking at the energy, looking at the finance support we put into the general election, presidential and parliamentary election, this assembly election and unit committee election has been getting a low patronage, especially even on the day. Yesterday, I spoke to a lot of people. Oh, do you know tomorrow we are going? Oh, Honorable Mimi Nyakwame.
That's the thing. Most people don't know about it.
And even those who know say they will come and vote. Those who also know say that, oh, now many DFU, what will I get from it? I think that it is high time that we put much attention. That is why in 2017, 2018, some of us were in support of being partisan. Because honestly, they tell you that assembly election is not partisan. But on the ground, we all know.
It's partisan.
I will not sit here and be so hypocrite and say that even in my constituency, it is not partisan in my constituency. It is. Both NDC and MPP. I've been going around with some people. We have NDC executives and NDC candidates also going out with people. So it is purely partisan. Because at the end of the day, whoever you elect as an assemblyman, he or she goes to the assembly and work with the municipal chief executive being appointed by the president. So everybody will wish, let me get people from our side. Because in some instances, you have even the party coming in to support. I remember in 2008, 2007, the current chairman of the NDC, Johnson Aside-Kutia, came out categorically saying that they have won majority of the assembly seats in the various constituencies, and so therefore they are going to win the general election. And truthfully, it came to pass. So, and you know, it always precedes the general election. So the enthusiasm that you put in as a party, your people follow it to the next election. Because next year we are having a general election.
Yeah.
So when you're able to go through assembly election with your people, whipping them on your side, getting majority for the assembly, then next year, that kind of energy is still with them. And then they will start campaigning for the general election. So for me, I think that the Electoral Commission and the NCC needs to do more education. Because honestly, the education is very low. Then when it comes to the cities, more especially in Accra, We are having two elections, assembly and that of unit committee. To be honest, some of the unit committees are not being recognized even at the assembly. I don't know whether you sitting here even know that we even vote for unit committee members because they don't even use them.
They don't use them.
They don't even mind them.
And they vote.
You will go and after voting for your assembly member, you are going to vote for another 5 people as unit committee members. So you are going to vote for 6 people tomorrow morning. And looking at our feet, you are not going to vote tomorrow. You see?
I'll vote.
And the unit committee are supposed to help the assembly members in their electoral area.
Right.
But in this case, it does not happen, especially in Accra. They don't even regard them. Unless maybe you go to the villages. After that one, they don't even respect MPs. They only know about assembly members and unit committee members. So I think that the NCC and the Electoral Commission, next 4 years, should be able to promote it. And I will also appeal to the local government minister through the president to see if we can send a bill back to Parliament for approval to ensure that assembly election become, because it is partisan. I mean, sometimes we have to stop this hypocrisy that, assembly election is not partisan. But meanwhile, we all know.
Even the universities, their elections are partisan.
For that one.
They are not.
Bernard has been part of it. It has been partisan since Adam.
Yeah, but they pretend it's not. It's partisan, very heavy partisan.
But now everything in Ghana is partisan. There's nothing in Ghana that is not partisan. Everything.
Anyway.
Even if you are going to chase a lady, the father will ask you, are you NDC or MP?
So Bernard is PSU.
As for him, it is the ladies themselves that bring application letters. So therefore, he doesn't have a problem.
Bernard Mona, anything you want to talk about with regards to what's in the newspapers?
If you permit me, a little touch on the LOC plans to brand Accra. We want to spend money in branding Accra.
Can we talk a little bit about the assembly?
I will.
Then
I will.
To the
Yeah, I will.
LOC
I want to
plans.
just use this as a...
Okay, sure.
To brand Accra. What about the sportsmen and women? Other countries' teams are already on international tours, preparing for the tournament, right? They have gone to Europe and other places. Their teams are not within their countries, so as to give them all the opportunity that they need. You are sitting here and you want to spend money, going around to decorate Accra. So that what will happen? The decoration will bring you the laurels. Your teams are not camped as we speak. Volleyball, they are not in camp. Basketball, they are not in camp. Tennis, they are not in camp. But you have money and you want to go and do branding. I don't get this. Your athletes are not preparing. The tournament is just at the corner. Spend money on your teams so that your teams can get exposure to come and win laurels for you. And you are coming to do branding.
Is it not part of it?
To do what?
Maybe just to let
the
Ghanaians
branding will
know
bring
that,
you laurels.
No, Ghanaians will know that we have this African Games happening right here in Ghana.
If the competition itself will not bring an awareness, it is not your branding. Going to decorate Accra and spending money so that somebody will get cut, it's not what we want now. You want to get your teams to go out there. So the secretariat responsible, the LOC, must be interested in the preparation of your various teams.
But you do the branding and at the end of the day, your people come and perform badly. What's the essence?
So
of it?
that is why you have to insist that you give them money. But you are not giving them support to go out to go and do anything.
So it's more of host and lose, eh?
Then you are there going to do branding. So you do branding. We get to know that you have branded our country for. Then the performance will be zero. And still, they will be paid.
Yeah,
We must be serious. Well, on the district assembly elections, I would not be able to go home to vote tomorrow. And I'm sure that many people will not be able to go because of timing difficulties.
Right.
We are talking about tomorrow is 19th. Many people who are in Accra are preparing to go for Christmas.
Yeah.
Up north and other parts of the country. And your economic situation is such that you will not be able to finance your trip, go and vote assembly elections, come back and come and complete. You know that even members of parliament, you are still passing, what do we call it, appropriation. Right? Then you have to leave here. So if you have to leave for, say, Tumu, you have to leave at worst case today. Right? Get to Wa or Tamale. Then you proceed to your communities. You will finish voting tomorrow. And unfortunately, tomorrow is Tuesday. As soon as you finish voting, you cannot get a flight. So you have to be driving either throughout the night to get to Accra. Then you have to go back for the Yuletide. The timing does not help some people.
Very inconvenient.
Do you understand? The timing is very poor. So majority of us, my luck is that my assembly member is going unopposed. So even if one person votes, he will be in assembly. But clearly, when you are doing these things, you have to factor every situation.
That is a very strong person.
Oh, yes. No, I think in our community, we sit down and talk.
Oh, okay.
He sit down and talk.
Just
I mean,
understand.
he is even an MPP person.
Okay.
And yet all of us think that he is a doer. And that is why I oppose this partisanship. This is an MPP man. He is the constituency vice chairman of the New Patriotic Party. But when it comes to his work as an assembly member, irrespective of the fact that he belongs to the New Patriotic Party, which is not popular in the area, right? He wins. So it is not because of his partisanship. It is because of they can do. That is why all of us, the chiefs and everybody, in fact, when he came and told us that, look, he was not interested to contest again, we all said, no. You have to contest. If we know anybody putting up an interest, we'll tell the person to stop.
Okay.
Do you understand?
That's
so
good.
Clearly, it is not a partisanship. It is about, look, every community can identify people that can do it. But as soon as you make it strict party lines, you can see that this man would not have won the assembly elections. Because in Santana, MPP cannot win. And so if MPP cannot win, and you project him as an MPP candidate, despite his quality, he would have lost.
Right.
And I'm sure that it pertains in many other constituencies or many other electoral areas. So we have to look at this thing critically. And I have been saying this, look, majority of us, particularly those of northern extraction, who because of the opportunities that we have to get, you have gotten to school, you have been educated, you come to Accra, you become a lawyer, you don't get the chance to serve your communities. And so after all the knowledge and expertise that you have acquired, when you are going on retirement, you now are available to go and provide service to your people. You go there and then they say that, but this man, we have never seen him in our party campaigns. And yet you have the expertise to go to assembly, to provide them and support them. Then they say that, no, you are not a member of our party. They will vote against you. Despite that, you have all the requisite experiences to support the growth of the assembly to make it a better place. And that is why I am totally opposed. That, look, experts and other people that could have gone to the assembly are not there because why? You go and then they say, this man is PNC, this man is NDC, this man is MPP. And I am using the Sankana.
But can't you
assembly.
run as an independent man?
You see,
Independent.
No,
How many people have run independent even in parliamentary elections and they've succeeded? How many people have run
So
independent?
the assembly will not work.
How many people have run independent in presidential and they have won? Worst of all, I sit here and as a party, former party executive, I tell you, when it comes to constituency elections, the parties struggle to go and do constituency primaries, right? You know what you went through. I'm just talking about the party itself before the individual can come. Now you want to say that, look, let's do constituency, polling station, what do we call it? You have to do polling station elections, do electoral area to select candidates. You have no idea the financial implications, not only to the party, but also to the individuals. And you who is going to be an MP, everybody wanting to be an assembly member then turns to you. If the party cannot support them, you are overburdened. So you have to look at all these things.
How to manage it.
You see, one other thing that we have to look at, Bernard, in respect of the assembly, the kind of people that goes to the assembly. I remember there was one MP. After that, he went back to contest as an assemblyman in his...
former member of
parliament. And went back to his...
And
the
lost.
north. Yes.
That's in Debul.
Oh, okay.
Don Akpagurubu in Debul.
You see, it look as if that we have left the assembly to people, excuse me to say, people that doesn't have the qualification. Because you go to the assembly, and even there are some people...
No, I disagree. Indum went and contested and won.
No,
As an assemblyman.
As an assemblyman.
No, Indu's time and John Mahama's time and those people is different. Currently, when you go to the assembly, you don't have the quality. To be honest and sincere with you,
I
am not undermining anybody.
The parties have decided to
give us the list.
No, to
is that
what I want.
If you go, let me give you an example.
Yes.
If you go to most of these electoral areas,
Yeah.
the parties deliberately will go and sit down and say, "Look, we want this person. We are selecting this person."
The point I want to make is that
Yeah.
some of us might think that the assembly, or we are bigger than the assembly. Doctors, lawyers, teachers, and what have you in those electoral areas feel that, after the assembly, it is not my class. It's for people that are low. But for me, I think that it is wrong.
But the assemblyman does even more work than the MP does.
Yeah, and you see, you go to some assemblies. I have attended some assembly meetings before, and I can tell you the quality of, because look, you put document before an assembly member who cannot even read and write.
We've seen some videos of some assembly members
who
are addressing the public.
It's not about reading and writing.
No,
but
the assembly want to do a contract. They have given a contract to Bernard Mona. Bernard has brought a document. Assemblyman should be able to go through it and making sure that at the end of the day, whatever I'm going to pass, because whatever the assembly does, it is assembly members who go to general assembly meeting.
Have you read E.T. Mensah's book on local government and the Accra Metropolitan Assembly?
No.
Where there was a member at the assembly who could not speak any English, and she was the longest serving member of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. And her people loved her so much.
Why?
And it was amazing that anytime there was a subject, she would speak in Ga. And her appreciation of it, apparently when they give documents, she would take it and go to assemble some experts. They would read it, explain to her.
And translate to her.
And then when they finish, then she would rather be asking them, why would this one be this one? Why would this one be this one? So when she gets back to the assembly for debate, she is speaking in Ga and questioning why some things are happening.
But Bernard, how many people
what I think
can
is
do that?
We should find a way to empower them. I don't think that English proficiency is intelligence.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. English proficiency is not intelligence. In fact, there are professors...
But at assembly, you are entitled to speak your local language.
Yeah, there are professors who know next to nothing. Common sense is not existent in them. And so, English proficiency, in my view, is not an answer to people's appreciation.
But we should have a certain level, a certain qualification level for people who will go and vie for these positions.
You are believing that classroom education is sufficient for people to appreciate things.
I'm not saying that.
When we even come
but
for your shows,
when
we come for your shows,
Bernard,
some of us, when we speak, don't you feel like vomiting?
Why do we promote education? Why do we say that everybody should be educated if we are saying that classroom is not as important as, because it's very important.
Look, we have made English
education,
as if you don't speak good English, it means you have no
We are not talking about English, Bernard. There's a difference.
No.
It's not about speaking of English. There are people who can translate things and they can barely speak good English. So it's not about English. It's about you having a certain level of education.
Professor Azuma Nelson? What was his qualification? But he runs one of the best businesses that you can find because at a point, he knows that I need to understand A, B, C, D. Get the expertise to work for him. There are many Ghanaian rich men who cannot read a thing.
Oh, yes.
But you bring the contract and they can tell you that, okay, what is this? When you finish explaining, they will tell you, do A, B, C, D.
All
so
right.
I think that education is more than just the classroom knowledge.
Okay, fantastic. We move on. Since we are still on elections, let's quickly talk about what lawyer Kwame Jantor has spoken with regards to election 2024, telling the EC that they should be careful in certain decisions they are making. Now, the EC has proposed a time frame of 3 p.m. close to voting. Now, he's saying that the 7th of December is not a weekend, it's a weekday. And so this is going to cause a little bit of issue for people who have to go to work or who have to run their businesses. And so the EC should be very, very careful in her dealings this election. He says, give NCCE a lot of money to start training and educating people that don't wait until the last minute to go and vote as much as possible. Get there early, he said. And this is his advice to the EC. Let me start. Philemon, you haven't spoken much, so let me start this conversation with you.
Yeah, I know of Ajantwa, and I think that this call he's made is the right one. We have time without number spoken about this particular EC and the leadership of Jean Mensah. You see, the EC is a very critical national institution. an umpire that has a responsibility to command unity in this country. And this unity can be attained by the actions of the EC. So if the EC begins to take steps, that begins to wane confidence from all the parties in the, all stakeholders, then it's a cause to worry. Let me start with one issue, and that issue has to do with even the composition of the Electoral Commission. There are 2 members of this EC appointed by Nanado who do not bring confidence to the political parties.
When you say they don't bring confidence?
They don't bring confidence because if you, my big brother here, is politically exposed, he can never become a member of the EC. I do not trust him. The Ghanaians will not trust him to be an umpire in an election because he's politically exposed.
Being politically exposed doesn't mean that you cannot be free and fair, right?
Rosalie, I think that you'll be untruthful to yourself if you don't admit that. If you are politically exposed, you cannot be an umpire. That's basically what it means. You don't expect a Manchester United supporter to go and referee a game between Manchester United versus Man City. You don't expect that. You don't expect fairness. In this EC, as we speak, there's one appointee who is a known MPP member, known, patron of Tescon, communicator of the party, appears on media platforms like I do to communicate for the MPP, but has been appointed as a member of the EC. How does that bring about confidence?
Who started this trend, though?
Which one is that?
The trend of giving positions to people who we know that they belong to a political party?
Well, I will not sit here to want to even say who started or who did not start it. Whoever it is that has done it, it's wrong. But the point here...
But we know that under the NDC, we saw it happening. It was glaring in our eyes.
Which one is that?
Oh, we know that Charlotte Mensah.
Charlotte
Charlotte
is politically exposed?
Yes, she was politically exposed. She actually contested to even go to parliament on the ticket of the NDC.
That is something I am not aware of.
Oh,
that
really?
Is something that you can produce evidence if you have it.
Oh, there was evidence. There were her flyers around. We all know that Charlotte was for the NDC.
There are people that are very mischievous. Mind you, don't fall into this cheap...
We'll try and get it because it was all over, though. It was over. Continue.
Well, but the fact of the matter is that we do not want people that are politically exposed to man the EC. And this thing about Charlotte, say you are mentioning, we know of all the nasty attempts by political actors to paint credible people bad. You get the point? So a person that represents a political party on media organizations and is a patron of a political organization cannot be an umpire. So that's one. But basically, when it comes to the running of the EC, I think that Jim Mensah's leadership is challenged. The NDC has withdrawn out of IPAC. Other political parties have issues. In the last registration of for new voters, if you recall, at IPAC, I've said this before, at IPAC, the various political parties said, EC, hold on with the organization of this election. Let us consult brother and come back. EC, out of bad faith, went ahead to implement it. So the EC has taken steps over and over again that has not inspired hope and confidence of the various stakeholders in the election. So the call by Mr. Janpo is a very genuine one. Why must we end elections at 3 o'clock? That is where the 24-hour economy that has been proposed by JM comes in. Why is it not possible that there would be lights? Look how bright the studio is. See how bright the studio is. We all can see. I can see, even if a pin drops in this studio, I can see it. So why, we're already talking, my big brother was making a point about how people don't turn out for elections. People have lost a lot of confidence in political actors. I won't be surprised if people even lose further confidence because of how this government has been mismanaged by Nanado and Baumia. So we must create an enabling environment where people are willing and ready to come out. If you are limiting the time for election to 3 o'clock, how many people can really come out and vote before 3 o'clock? We know the various challenges the EC is confronted with. Faulty biometric machines. Faulty. You go and then the thing doesn't recognize your fingerprints.
But there's a possibility it will be fixed by then, right?
Possibility. In the last registration that they just did, we saw a repeat of the same problem. Just the last one, a few months ago, where they were registering new voters, the same thing happened. They gave assurances that it was going to work smoothly. It did not. So there are internal challenges with the EC, and we do not expect them to say they're going to end at 3 o'clock. Rather, adopt a system where there's going to be the use of technology. Make sure there's lights everywhere so people are able to vote till about 5 o'clock. In some places, admittedly,
money out of, the position that I am in, of course, naturally, I want to stay in power. And so maybe I might do one or two things to make sure that I don't lose my position.
That's why I gave an example of Charlotte Say. He was just there for 4 years. Am I right? He was appointed by
I don't think
Mahama.
Charlotte did. Did she do 4? She didn't do 4. She did just about 2 years here.
So you see, 2 years. So 2 years is not enough for her. She could have turned things round in favor of John Mahama in 2016. But where is the power? He has no power. Because the Ghanaians have decided the result is shown that this is the total result. You can't turn it. That is why Atubiga, when we went to court in 2013, 2012, 2013, he said elections are won at the polling station and not at the EC office. If there's anybody, look, I spoke to a EC person, a district EC officer, complaining about certain things. Then he said, look, me sitting here, I cannot do anything to undermine your party or do anything to favor your party. But one thing I can do, we always get the opportunity to employ the people who are going to work at the centers. If I'm a bad person, I'll appoint a strong MDC people to go to these police stations.
So that is the issue here.
So at the end of the day, they will do something against you.
So then
it is not about the head office. If there's anything, it is at the grassroots.
So they can do something then.
Oh, but what can a person do?
Intimidate.
A lot.
In what way?
Intimidate. We saw some
You see,
people be claiming that they were
whenever it is
intimidated
election.
during 2020 elections. Let's look at even Techiman, where some people claim that, because of the military presence, they were intimidated, they couldn't cast their votes and all. You know what I mean?
Rosalind, you see, military presence, police presence are always at every center. In some cases, you go to some centers, you see a fire service person or immigration or customs even sleeping. Because what can the person do? Nothing. Let's come back to the issue of 3 p.m. Reasons that the EC, and to be honest and sincere with you, and this is my point, that is not the party's position.
Okay.
Personally, I'm not in support of the 3 p.m.
Okay.
I must be honest.
Why?
Why? Because, and the EC has started some reasons. I don't agree with that reasons. One of the main reasons that I've cited is that our police stations, there are some that we have less than 500. Now they want to make sure that at every police station we have 500 people at every police station. And in some cases, some police stations we have less than 500. And so as at 10, 11, there are no queues.
Yeah.
They are finished with it. I have about more than 10 police stations in my constituency that have less than 100 people in that police station. So they are saying that now they want to have 500 at every police station. So if you have 500 at every police, they are assuming that, by 3 o'clock, we are finished voting, which cannot be the case. Because some of the polling stations, the distance in which the people will be coming from is very far. As for Accra, we don't have much problem. But when you go to the other regions, I was talking to the defense minister some time ago, and was telling me that he have one electoral area, that they have only one police station. One polling station.
In one electoral area?
One electoral area. So it means that the distance in which other people will be coming from to come and vote is very far. So if somebody could take about 2-3 hours
and some people
to
have to walk.
And there's not everybody who have the means to even take a car or even ride on a motorbike. So when you look at the distance, I think that it will not be appropriate for the person to get to the police station as early as you are expecting them to be. And the EC cannot be thinking for us that, because it's an election day, get up early, take your bath, dress, and go to the police station. No, they cannot think for me as to the time I should go to the police center. Tomorrow, for instance, I have decided the time I have to go to the center, because I think that I have to go through the constituencies, look at what is going on before going to my center. So what about if I get to my center at 2:45 or 3? You tell me that I should not vote. I don't think it is. I think the EC need to come back again. That's why I agree with Kwame Jantua, saying that the EC need to support the NCC, gets them the resources. Let's start doing the publicity. Let's start engaging the people. Let's start talking to the people. I remember, I think one of their proposals, they really wanted to have the election in, how do you call it?
November.
In November.
Yeah.
What has happened to all those things? I think we need to look at some of these things.
I think the latest one also says that they want to use the system to count it or something, so they will start tallying. They'll declare it on their website.
They said they will declare it
on their website
and also showcase the pin sheet
on their website. Exactly.
So with all those things are very important, because that if you do some of these things, people will not come and say so many things. Because if my brother is a police station at Joy Prime and being displayed, and he knows that, look, at the end of the pool, Baumia 500, John Mahama 25.
John Mahama 1,005.
But what will happen to the people who don't have access to these websites? Because Ghana is not just about Accra, Kumasi, Takoradi, and those.
No, the elections will be declared at the various police
before
centers.
They
display
it on their website.
Accra,
okay.
Then they will display
put it on their website.
On their website.
That's fine.
I think that one. I don't think there's a problem with it.
Okay.
So for me, I think that the EC need to come back again
with the time.
Okay. And have more publicity, more engagement, so that people will understand. Because look, some people, they have to go to the farm.
That's true. Bernard.
Chief, if you don't, just one for the record.
Okay.
Jean Mensah, Mr. Jean Mensah.
Charlotte
Osei has never, and I'm stating as a matter of fact, been on the ticket of any political parties to run for any election in this country.
So
Charlotte Osei, never.
Okay. So the pictures that we saw...
It was propaganda. Propaganda by...
So who created it?
Well, there are mischievous people around. Those who took it out are the same ones that must have been behind this.
Let me read a few comments, then Bernard, because I know your submission will be a bit long. Jean Mensah can say anything because she has been allowed to go unpunished for superintending over elections that lead to loss of lives. Her incompetence are legendary and has caused tremendous mayhem in the country. I'm not surprised that she has at this time unilaterally cut the duration of voting come 2024 elections. Ghanaians are watching her. Daniel Akpaliok from Sunday Ma. Okay, I think this is... Okay, so hi Rose, how can you expect free and fair elections from commissioners who have a history of changing presidential results more than 6 times in 2020 and refused accountability before the court? Jean Mensah and her cohorts in NPP colors have no credibility or discipline to conduct credible elections because they are bent on rigging the 8th for NPP, and the recent limited registration is a proof of their evil intentions. In fact, the EC must be dissolved to prevent a repeat of 2020 elections, which was the bloodiest and most discredited poll supervised by the same commission. Okay. So, Al Hassan Sese from Zenu Central. Good morning to you all. May I take this opportunity to wish all the assemblymen aspirant, well, especially a cancer electoral area in the Pon Katamanso constituency. I urge all electorates to vote for Ibrahim Mohammed, number 1 on the ballot tomorrow, aka number 9, no 10. Okay. Good morning to you. I'm beginning to believe that we don't have a listening government that has its ear down on the ground to just listen to the cry of the people. That is the issue of unemployment and how market women are crying that people are not buying and what have you. My point is that I think the government should create, but not temporary or artificial markets, not just because of the season, but permanent market within the district and close to all central markets, just to make things flexible a bit for buyers or final consumers. Aaron Bebako Kokomisa. All right, so I think that for now, let me see if this is okay. This says only high, this says only high as well. Bernard, your opinion on the topics.
Strangely, I am tempted to agree with the Electoral Commission in part.
The 3 p.m.?
But before I do that, let me send my greetings to Eben, Philemon, and yourself. And to also say that my weekend was a very terrible weekend. One of our brothers took the wife to the hospital for CS session, the doctors managed to save the baby. But in my opinion, they killed the woman.
So sad.
In my opinion, because I thought that the situation could be saved. And so Saturday and Sunday, the Sankana family in Accra were just broken. But I'm just happy that...
Was it a negligent act? What happened?
I just think that there has been medical negligence, huge medical negligence.
And it could have been avoided.
And I also would have thought that a doctor of any sound standing would have, after that, requested the family if they wanted to do an autopsy. And even for the doctor himself to be able to determine what could be the other cause, because we are told that pathologists are the doctor's doctor. That anytime these things happen, the pathologists are able to tell precisely what could happen so that we can prevent future occurrences. But the family thinks that we should just let it go. I don't think that way. I think that when these things happen, we just need to go to the full hog, because some of these deaths are avoidable.
Yeah.
This is a young lady who had just finished the university. She has not even seen her degree certificate.
Wow.
And this is the calamity that we have to suffer. Beyond that, I think that the Electoral Commission makes
Chief, I encourage you to sue.
Yeah.
I encourage that.
Philemon will help with that.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Because I personally, since this matter happened on our platforms, I've just been insisting that there has been negligence. And this is about the second time within the Sankana family in Accra that such has happened. And we cannot always say that it's all well.
Yeah.
So I take your advice and I...
Please accept our condolence.
First is that Jean Mensah and the Electoral Commission must open up, because no one person or institution is the repository of knowledge. And particularly when it comes to the dynamics of political engagement, the Electoral Commission must understand that political engagement is beyond even the political parties. There are members like you who doesn't belong to a political party who is interested in the outcome of our elections. That you will be able to meaningfully contribute ideas to make our electoral processes more buoyant. So when it comes to matters like this, it cannot just be the Electoral Commission sitting down and coming to issue statement that this is what we want to do, and therefore everybody must say yes. The Electoral Commission is not like a Joy studio where you take a decision. The Electoral Commission is a public institution, and its decisions must reflect public opinions. Anything short of that will mean that the Electoral Commission is not doing a public interest job. Why? I personally think that, look, I come from rural area, and I know that sometimes deliberately we allow the vote to travel into the night, right? Then when they are sorting out the ballot, some people start adding. Some places, they will deliberately make sure that other political parties' agents are not available. Or even if you are available, they will tell you that this is our special candidate. And so all of you know that this is where we belong. And so...
Oh, they say that?
Oh, why not? We come from villages. And so if the community says that we support Eben,
oh, wow,
you can actually be an agent, Eben's agent, but that is physically you are the agent, but in body and spirit you are not.
Wow.
Because your agents vote. And need I give you, when I was contesting for Wa Central, my agent at a polling station in Kadoli, right, is somebody we trained, a young man. On the day of the voting, my people went around. You know, you have people to now go and check whether people are. When they got there, that my person that was trained was now standing for NPP. Right? And then my people got angry and said, what is happening, Baba? They said, oh, he is no more our agent, but he has appointed somebody to be our agent. So my people just told the electoral officers that we don't have an agent. We prefer not to have an agent.
Wow.
So it happens when the community decides to take a decision, and there are many reasons why they will take a decision. This person is our blood. That is our sister's son or daughter. This is the relationship. And we, this community, we want to back this person. This person has gone to make a comment that is injurious to us. So all of us are decided. So even your agent will not be for you.
Right.
So it is important that the Electoral Commission will factor this. And I say that in doing so, if they decide that the elections will go into the night, you can be assured that the counting, even the votes that some people will be courageous to vote for, you will not get them. Remember General Eskin?
Yes.
He voted in a constituency with his wife, in the polling station, and they counted and he got 0. And said, why? Even if his wife did not vote for him, he himself too did not vote for himself. Eskin,
I remember.
I mean, these are things that happen. He said, okay, assuming that even his wife did not vote for him, what about he himself? He got 0. And they had to do a recount, and he got 1.
I remember very well.
Yeah, so what it means is that even his wife did not trust that the man that he sleeps with and gives birth, does everything with, can be a president. But this happens, and it depends on probably when the voting was counted and the kind of machinations that go. So if there is a proposal that let the voting end at 3 o'clock, 2 hours is sufficient for counting, so that we can all see Gani, right? We can see the sorting out. Don't forget that the sorting out is done manually because we are not doing electronic voting. So the sorting out is somebody that will pick it and say that, okay, this is for Eben, this is for Philemon, this is for Rose. So as they are sorting out, if we cannot see well, somebody can decide to oversort for some candidate. And so if it is 3 o'clock and we put our time well, I sincerely think that, look, if we start and we don't have the kind of difficulties that we had in the past, remember that constituency like areas like Myeong constituency, we could not get ballot papers there. And some of the polling stations, you get there, and the ballot papers are not what are meant for the polling stations. So you get to a particular polling station, and maybe they have brought a polling station in Sankana to Okaikwe. That's your place, eh?
No, my place is
Ablekuma. So mistakenly, they have sent Sankana polling station to Ablekuma. Then, within that period, you know that it becomes a difficult thing. But I think that, look, let's look at the 3. And that is why the Electoral Commission needs to expand this conversation. Because, why? Everybody knows my stance on these matters. But I think that if we are able to do it at 3 o'clock, it's good. Now, the Electoral...
But then again, you know, yes, it's good, but the kind of challenges that we've spoken about, where you have people who have to commute very long distance, people...
So once we get to know that voting will close at 3, we take steps to move early.
Okay.
Right? We know that once you are in the queue, right, when it is 3 o'clock, the officers at the station will come and stand at the end of the queue.
Okay.
Meaning that no new persons can join.
Can join in.
But once it's 3 o'clock, even if it's 2:59 and you walk into the queue, you are allowed to vote.
Okay.
Right? So we should be. And the other thing is that, look, the Electoral Commission, we are learning. They realize that polling stations with more than 500 becomes problematic. So now, assuming that we have Ablekuma market, Abosokai market, then we have people that have registered there, and they are more than 1,500. What the Electoral Commission is going to do is that we can have Ablekuma or Abosokai market, polling station A,
and B,
polling station B, polling station C, polling station D, right? And all these things are spread so that you know that when you are going into this particular polling station. So this will come when we do what we call the confirmation on our names on the voters register. So you get to know that you belong to this polling station.
Right.
So you move straight to polling station D. So it is going to be simple because 500 people...
So then a lot of education has to go out there.
That I agree. That's why I'm
yeah.
insisting that the Electoral Commission need to, look, open up itself. Because there are things that some ones of us can support. There are things that I will not support. I will not support the issue of Ghana card being the sole determiner of who can qualify to be on the voters register or not.
And
I
what's your
will
reason
never
for that?
support it. See, I insist. Does the Ghana card not have the same challenges that the passport has? Are they not non-Ghanaians who have registered the Ghana card?
Well, there's non-Ghanaian Ghana card.
Yes, but there are non-Ghanaians who have the Ghana card as Ghanaian citizens.
Some have prosecuted.
Has the National Identification Authority not identified some of these people and they are prosecuting them? Have they? And so it means that the same human challenges that we have with passport, we have with the voter's ID card, we have with the driving license, are the same challenges we have with the Ghana card. So why are you doing as if the Ghana card is essentially delivered to us? And that every other thing must come to a halt because you don't have a Ghana card. And I insist that being a Ghanaian is not because you have a Ghana card. We are Ghanaian according to the constitution because our parents are Ghanaians. Because we're in Ghana before independence. We were Ghanaians before independence. And that, look, any person who is below 7 years and is found on the street of Ghana without a parent is a Ghanaian.
It's a Ghanaian.
And above all that, if any of your parents or grandparents is or was, underline is or was, a Ghanaian, you are a Ghanaian. So there are people who are in Kosmokaya, but because their grandparents were Ghanaians, they are qualified by our constitution to be Ghanaians. It is not their possession of a Ghana card that qualifies them to be a Ghanaian. And the voters, you register Ghanaians. And when I am coming to register as a Ghanaian, you say I have to come with a Ghana card. How does a Ghana card determine whether I'm a Ghanaian,
or not? Okay. Anyway, so as we are still in the election mood, we know that campaigns are ongoing where the flag bearer for the NDC is actually speaking. Well, he's spoken about the 24-hour economy, which has sparked a lot of, conversations on different portals. But this one is also going to spark another conversation. Now, anytime we talk about his tenure, we talk about when he cancelled the nursing trainees allowance. Now, some of the nurses actually spoke out and said this is why they voted against his government. But he has finally spoken and explained why he had to do so. He said, when we tried to explain the reason why we were replacing your allowances with student loans, people did not understand us. What we wanted to do was build more CHPS compounds, more hospitals and more health facilities, more health centers, so that when you come out, you can get work to do. That was our intention. But some people took political advantage of it and they said they would continue to pay their allowances because they could. This is what he said. Now, this is the jab. He said, today, I am told that those in their second year have never seen their allowances. My younger sisters and younger brothers, I am standing on your behalf here to remind Nanado Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia that the students of Seshriyoso Nursing Training College say that they are waiting for their allowances because you promised you could pay. Lawyer Philemon La, this particular allowance that was cancelled was one of NDC's biggest downfall in 2016. Was it worth being cancelled?
Okay, one thing I can tell you about the man John Mahama is that he thinks about Ghana passionately. He takes the hard and uncomfortable decisions for the benefit of a country. He doesn't take soft decisions. Only borderless leaders take soft decisions. John Mahama took this decision because, think of it, just like free SHS, I would make a comparison between this policy and the free SHS. You have to think ahead. Our commitment is that several people now go into the nursing training colleges. We are producing so many with limited facilities. And this year in our time, we had total revenue of 248 billion. That was like the total revenue of Ghana at the time. So then NDC thought that it was important for us to rather build more hospitals, facilities, CHIPS compounds, district hospitals. That would allow for the thousands that we are producing from our nursing training colleges. If you do not do that, and you keep producing, and there are no facilities they can work in, what happens? It's very simple. So then DC said, let us redirect funds. And the redirection of the funds will go into the construction of hospitals. And indeed, let me read some of the records. The NDC built 4 regional hospitals in our time. We built 3 institutional hospitals. Ridge Hospital, Facelift, University of Ghana Medical Center, Afari Hospital in Kumasi, Dodowa, Fomena, several hospitals in their thousands. CHIPS compounds, over 200 across the country. 14 district hospitals. The NDC's record on healthcare is unparalleled.
But most of these hospitals were already being constructed before the cancellation.
Which one of them?
Or the cancellation happened before?
No, I'm telling you, these are completed hospitals.
No, I'm not saying they are not
Yes,
completed. What
completed.
I'm saying is that they were under construction before the cancellation.
But we
of
have
the
to finish
nursing
them
training
and equip
allowance,
them.
right?
We have to finish them, equip them. We also had this policy called the National Medical Equipment Replacement Program, where we invested 264 million in improving medical equipment across hospitals in this country. How can nurses work without equipment in the hospitals? How can nurses work without hospitals? How can a farmer go to his farm without his hoe? So it's on the back of this that the NDC made this promise. But you see, the NDC also realized that we have some people who genuinely need money, funds to pay their fees and also support their living while they are going through their nursing education. And that's why we replaced it with a loan. The students who need financial help go for a loan to support yourself while you go through your medical and nursing education while we equip the various hospitals across this country. So that was the reason behind the NDC's policy. And indeed, it was the right decision because today we are seeing the benefits. Today, we have not seen any massive progression from what the NDC did. We have heard about Agenda 111, which really nothing is happening. What is the MPP's record on healthcare? Even in Kumasi, Konfanoche, it has taken the distinguished Otumfo.
Ebenezer, I say you tell us.
Even in Kumasi, it has taken Otumfo to initiate the process of refurbishing Konfanoche. While there's a government, while there's a Nanadu, you have forgotten the people of Ashanti. Otumfo said, I will not, John Mahama, he did Afari for us. He did the KJTR market for us. We expected you, our party, or our supposed party, to improve Konfanoche. You haven't. So Otumfo took it upon himself. He's rallied his sons all around. Come and let us improve Konfanoche. So basically, today what are we seeing? They have not improved the healthcare systems in this country. Thousands of nurses are leaving this country to the UK. Did you go to the airport recently? Go to the airport on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and see that thousands, people of that are leaving this country.
Really?
People are leaving the country. Nurses are leaving. First, in fact, aside nurses even leaving, another important thing that is happening, painful thing I must say, are nurses that finish school and have to wait 3-4 years before they are even posted. Matter of fact, people have completed nursing schools, they cannot be posted. So today, John Mahama is vindicated. And you can see that when he goes to the various nursing training colleges to campaign, you will see the students, Philly. They themselves come to him and say, John, Mahama, we are sorry. The same students.
Some or
they say, gather, they come and say, John Mahama, we are sorry. So the NDC takes very hard decisions. But those decisions reflect.
These students are not in school. Most of the people that got their allowance cancelled are not in school.
But the system is that,
completed.
you see, but the people in nursing schools now are faced with the same challenges people in the past were confronted with. I know people that finished nursing school as far back as 2017-18. They still have not been posted.
Okay.
They still have not been posted. But I must emphasize by saying that the NDC takes decisions that reflect our intention to improve the lot of our people.
All right. Eben?
Usling.
When you do that, every time I speak, he gets the opportunity to rebut. I don't get an opportunity to rebut him. Because if you started with me, he's going to rebut, but I don't get that opportunity.
So when I finish, you can rebut.
Of course, I'd like that.
I'll give you a few minutes to rebut,
like
don't worry.
Yeah. And when you finish with the rebut, I also Usling.
Yes.
But
I don't know whether
it was fair to start with him because that is your party presidential candidate that spoke.
No problem about that, but I would be happy to rebut.
Okay.
Usling.
That's if he says anything that needs to be rebutted, right?
Absolutely.
I don't know whether my brother was in this country when 21 doctors went to the Ministry of Health and later went to the Ministry of Finance to sleep there for 3 days. 21, only 21 doctors. 1, 2, 3, up to 21. Asking John Mahama to post them, that he refused. In fact, there were 2 ladies who were even pregnant. They slept at the Ministry of Finance with their mattresses, their buckets, and everything I don't know whether he was in this country
There
at
were
that time.
21.
21. Only 21 doctors.
You should substantiate that.
Only 21. You could not even post them.
I have no.
So if you sit here and you say that
You should
on
substantiate that. This is
Tuesday,
just like a comment here. Substantiate it.
if you
When
sit
did that
here
happen?
and you said Tuesdays and Wednesdays, when you go to the airport, people are traveling outside the country, all because they cannot be posted. When we came in, you have almost about 5-6 years. People have completed nursing that have not been posted. 5 chance of nursing students. Because at that time, in 2013-14, we have been to the IMF. So you have freeze on employment. All these people were sitting at home. So we came in and we started posting those people.
But is this not why he said he had to build these infrastructure so that they could
Building
accommodate
infrastructure
them?
is different from posting the people to the various
yes,
health
because
centers.
the time that
Rosalie,
yes,
posting has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with infrastructure.
but how do you post people to places that there's no infrastructure?
But he's talking about they building here, building there, building there. Before I was born, Ridge Hospital is there. So when you do renovation at Ridge Hospital, does it mean you have built a new hospital?
It might not be a new hospital, but it
Major
looks
facelift.
more
Major.
like
Saying that so
a
you
new
cannot
block was built.
because
so you have built a new office at Joy Prime.
Okay.
Is that what they are saying?
So-
no, I'm just asking you.
no. So the thing
Because
is,
you have given a faithless here.
Philemon, please let him
Oh,
make
please.
his point.
When you were talking, I just kept
Philemon,
quiet.
I beg you.
I'll get my rebuttal.
So I was saying that, when you are building, there's a building where you have the capacity to employ more because you are expanding. And there's a building where you are just expanding for space purpose. But when you look at Ridge Hospital, it wasn't just an expansion. It was an opportunity to be able to absorb more workers into Ridge Hospital, which created employment.
So you do renovation at Ridge Hospital, right? And you call it that you have built a new hospital and therefore you are posting people there.
Oh,
Is that what
no,
they are saying?
nobody's saying it's so. What it is that there was an expansion that created
let me flow?
room.
Can you let me
Please
flow?
flow.
But the interjection is
Please flow.
is
Flow.
too much.
Please flow. Sorry.
Look at
Flow.
the way you have changed.
No, flow. I beg you, flow. Please flow.
Rosalind,
Yeah.
so if we have about 5 badges of nurses, that at your time, when John Mahama was the president, refused to post these people, if you are the same person, going to the same, if you call 10 people to come for a meeting, and they say, we beg you, they've not done anything.
Another answer.
Because all the universities and all the training colleges, we have political parties, as we really said from the beginning. We have political party people organized, we have TESCOM, we have TAPE. The people that we went to meet them are 10 people. And so if 10 people are saying that, come back, it's your own people. If your mother is asleep and you say your mother is dead, it's your own cup of tea. Who cares? You'll be hungry. And I'll be full. So I don't have a problem with it. The point is that if he's saying that he intends to build infrastructure, that is why he cancelled the allowances for doctors, for teachers training, and then the nurses. I remembered that he went to the UCC when he met students at that time. In fact, that program was even organized by his own 10 people. And he told them point blank, you can vote against me. I'm not going to restore your allowances today or tomorrow. So the same person turned back and said that I was planning that the money that I will give to you as your allowances, I want to build infrastructure. And these people say, no, they want to give their money to you. I will not sit here and say that I have all the facts as to whether, as of today, nurses and teachers' allowances are in debt or not.
In debt, in arrears,
Please.
for over 4 years.
Please.
In arrears.
I will not sit here and say whether they are in debt or not.
Well, we've been receiving a lot of messages from them
But
saying
I'll also
that
not
they
be
haven't received
surprised.
their money.
I'll also not be surprised if government is owing them. But it is better off than the one who decided. Because let me tell you, there are some people who rely on these allowances to survive and completed school 6, 7, 8 years ago. There were people who parents have to go and sell their clothes and other properties of them to get money for them to run and finish their school because of somebody cancellation at that time. Some people have to be dropped out from the school because somebody decided to cancel it because they don't have money to give to them.
But some of them don't have jobs.
But we have money. But we have money at that time, at that same time, to buy cars to be given to 10 people at the universities at the time of when people need money to complete their education. What are we talking about?
Anyway, Bernard,
I mean, sorry,
1 minute.
In 1 minute. I think that I'm trying to get the logic behind his argument. First of all, you say that the NDC, we are clear. We said that we will stop it and then invest in healthcare. Our record on healthcare is there. I've laid it down, the various hospitals. But you said that you are restoring it. You lied to the people that you are restoring health allowances and you're not paying it. Which is better?
But it's just 2 years.
The better option is that I have told you I will not be able. Look at the issue.
But they've been in power for 7 years.
People are there. People are there who have not been posted. People are there who are not getting their allowances.
And I'm saying only 21 people.
You may even that is
21.
Not true. Give me evidence of that. That's not true.
21.
Okay. That is not true. Give evidence of that. But you see, the fact of the matter is that the MPP promised that we're going to restore the payment of allowances. They have failed in that.
All right.
We have backlog of about 3 years. People are there. They've not been paid.
Okay.
That's a lie.
Okay.
So it's important for us to call out the MPP. Ours is that we have invested in healthcare, and the record is there.
The neutral man, PNC, Bernard Mona.
Education is something that should not be toyed with, and particularly professional education. If we are not careful by the kind of professionals we churn out, we will train people that will end up being our murderers. I just told you about the sad story that we encountered on Saturday, where the woman, in trying to bring forth, will die. And so I'm very particular about the kind of education we turn out. It's not everybody that should want to go and become a nurse because opportunities are not available. And so we take everybody because, hey, they cannot get admission to universities. They cannot get admission to colleges of education. The only available option is that
go to nursing training.
Go to nursing training. And so even persons who do not have the interest and do not have the requisite qualification to lead them there have been trained. And when such are trained and they come and administer medications or other things on us, we will die. Yeah? And so you see why many people are dying in our hospitals these days, in spite of the fact that medicine and have reached advanced stage. I thought that the raison d'etre for organizing or cancelling the allowances, both teacher and nursing, was that persons who went to the university, right, were seen to be pursuing degrees. And persons who went to the colleges, for instance, teacher training colleges, were getting diploma and set A's. Then in the nursing institutions, they were also getting diplomas and not degrees. And so once degree students were or had to subsist on loans, and we converted our nursing training colleges, our colleges of education now into degree awarding institutions, what will be the difference between somebody who went to University of Ghana to do nursing and is taking a loan, and somebody who went to a nursing training college to also earn a degree, and that one is paid allowance? Do you understand? There was supposed to be some rationalization.
There should be a balance.
That rationalization that once we are all earning degrees this time, then there cannot be a difference why I will go and take a loan and then you will be given allowance. So let's get it. That is one.
Chief, one small thing. I think the degrees apply with
our time
only
is almost done.
The degrees apply with only teacher training college.
In fact, my time is past. So better.
The second one had to do with the fact that, look, you say you want to construct more educational institutions, more nursing training, chiefs compounds, health centers, hospitals, and what have you, so as to absorb people. I would think, where I sit, that I better not get an allowance, but get a permanent job, than to get an allowance and not get a permanent job. So after I have gotten the allowance, I have the qualification, I come and sit at home, doing what with the certificate? And so if John Mahama is telling us that, look, this is what I wanted to do, the question is, how was it communicated?
Right. Thank you so much for being here today, gentlemen. We are super grateful you made time representing the NPP, of course, Honorable Ebenezer Nate, and he's here every Monday. Also,
Did you say he will go to Parliament?
Yeah, he will.
Maybe on this.
You go back to Parliament because he's been there
No,
before.
since the elephant can give birth.
And for the NDC, lawyer Philemon La, thank you so much for being here as well. And of course, the neutral person representing PNC.
I am not neutral. I am a PNC.
You're PNC.
And my political philosophy is clear.
Bernard Mona. That's his name. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank
I say you're neutral because you have, the two of them are...
They have run this country to the bottom.
Anyway, that will be all for News Flash segment.